Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I think is, well, probably on a lot of people's minds. How do you actually build wealth? We're going to zero in on those key money habits, the ones that, keep popping up when you look at financially successful folks.
Right.
Think of this as your express lane, a way to quickly grasp the financial behaviors that can really move the needle.
Exactly. Yeah, we've gone through a really interesting discussion that outlines 10 money habits that will make you a millionaire. And our mission here for this deep dive is basically to pull out the most potent, actionable stuff for you.
Yeah.
Give you the real essence of these habits so you can start thinking about how they might, fit into your own life.
Great. Let's get right into it then. So the first habit mentioned is pay yourself first. Now that phrase, it sounds a bit counterintuitive at first, doesn't it? Like, don't bills and everything else come first.
Well, that's the interesting part, isn't it? It's really about a mindset shift, a pretty fundamental one. Pay yourself first isn't really about, like, stiffing your landlord or anything.
Right.
It's about making a conscious choice to prioritize your financial future right away.
Okay.
So as soon as money comes in, boom, a set portion goes straight to savings or investments before you start paying other bills or spending it.
Okay. So you're flipping the usual process. You treat saving like it's the most important bill you have, non-negotiable.
Precisely. That's the core idea. You bake saving and investing into your budget as a fixed expense, just like, say, your rent or your phone bill. And by doing that consistently, right off the bat, you make sure your own financial growth isn't just an afterthought, something you do if there's cash left over.
Yeah, that leftover money often never materializes, does it?
Not usually, no.
Yeah.
So this makes it the priority. And, well, we'll get into this more, but that consistency is absolutely crucial for letting things like compound interest really work for you later on.
Makes total sense. Look after future you, starting now.
Right.
Okay, habit number 2. Track your spending. Now, I know what some people think when they hear this. Spreadsheets. Counting every coffee. Does it have to be that intense?
Hey, yeah, it can sound daunting. And look, if that level of detail works for you, great. But the real point here is more about developing awareness. Just knowing where your money is actually going. Financially successful people, they tend to be really intentional with their money.
Oh, okay.
And you can't be intentional if you're flying blind.
Okay.
Right? So tracking gives you that essential visibility. Maybe not every single cent, but the big categories.
So focus on the big buckets, like, housing, groceries, transport, maybe entertainment, subscriptions, those areas where small amounts can really add up without you noticing.
Exactly that. Don't get bogged down unless you want to.
Yeah.
But just regularly look at those main categories. It helps you spot the patterns. Like, wow, am I really spending that much on eating out?
Right.
And once you see it, you can ask, okay, could I trim this a bit? Could I redirect some of that towards, say, my investment goal?
I see. So it's about knowledge-empowering choice. Knowing your habits lets you make deliberate decisions that actually line up with your goals.
That's it. You get that bird's eye view, and then you can consciously steer the ship.
Okay. Habit number 3 is invest early and consistently. We hear this one all the time, but let's really dig in. Why are early and consistently both so critical?
Well, the magic word here is compounding. Compound interest.
The snowball effect.
Exactly. Think of it like planting a seed. It grows,
Right.
But then that plant produces its own seeds.
Okay.
That's compounding. Your initial investment earns returns, and then those returns start earning their own returns. It builds on itself.
And the early part gives it more time to do that building.
Precisely. The longer your money has to compound, the more dramatic the growth becomes over time.
Yeah.
It's exponential. And consistency, that's the fuel. Regular contributions, even if they feel small, keep that snowball rolling and gathering more snow.
So this tackles that myth that you need like a huge lump sum to even start investing, right? You can actually begin small.
Absolutely. That's a huge misconception that holds people back. You can start with really quite modest amounts, maybe $50 a month, maybe even $25.
Oh, okay.
The key is the habit, doing it consistently over years and years. That combination of regular additions and time for compounding can build significant wealth.
And making it automatic probably helps a lot with consistency.
Oh, massively. Setting up automatic transfers from your checking to your investment account, game changer. It just happens. Takes the decision-making, the emotion, I'll do it later, out of the equation. It ensures that consistency.
Like starting a little stream and over time it becomes a river.
Perfect analogy. Start it early, keep it flowing.
Love it. All right, habit number 4, live below your means. Sounds simple enough, but where do people tend to get tripped up with this one?
Yeah, it sounds simple, but I think people sometimes hear live below your means and think it means like extreme frugality or deprivation, constant sacrifice.
Right, like eating instant noodles forever.
Exactly. That's not really it. It's more about being intentional, again, making sure your spending consistently stays less than your income. That gap, that surplus, that's the money you can then use to save and invest more aggressively. It accelerates everything.
So it's less about deprivation and more about conscious choices. Resisting that urge to upgrade your lifestyle every single time you get a raise, maybe. Avoiding lifestyle creep.
That's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
It's making deliberate decisions that align with your, let's say, your deeper values and your long-term goals.
Yeah.
Not just getting caught up in, what your neighbor just bought or what looks cool on Instagram. You can definitely still enjoy life, buy things you value, have great experiences, but it's about keeping spending in check overall, maintaining that balance so you maximize that gap for saving and investing.
So it's mindful consumption, making sure spending serves your goals, not hinders them. Okay. Habit 5, avoid bad debt. Ugh, debt feels complicated, sometimes unavoidable. What's the key difference here between good debt and bad debt in a wealth-building context?
Okay, this is a really important distinction. The core difference is usually about what the debt is used for. Does it buy something that's likely to increase in value or generate income? Or does it buy something that loses value or is just consumed? So good debt typically might be like a mortgage on a rental property that generates income, or maybe a loan to start a business that has real potential. It's debt used for investment.
Okay, an asset.
An asset, exactly. Bad debt, on the other hand, that's usually borrowing for things that go down in value quickly or just for consumption. Think high-interest credit card debt for, clothes or meals out, or large car loans.
So even if you need a car for work, a big loan for a brand new one that depreciates the second you drive it off the lot,
Right.
that generally falls into the bad debt category.
Generally, yes, from a pure wealth-building perspective. Now look, life is practical. Sometimes you need transport. But paying interest on a rapidly depreciating asset, that's a drain. Millionaires tend to be very strategic about debt. They might use debt, leverage, but selectively.
Yeah.
For opportunities that build wealth, not for consumption that erodes it.
That clarifies it really well. Debt as a potential tool, but wielded very carefully, not just for instant gratification. Okay, habit 6 is interesting. Surround yourself with like-minded people. How much does your social circle really impact your finances? Seems a bit indirect.
You'd be surprised. It's actually quite powerful, often subconsciously. We humans, we tend to mirror the attitudes, the norms, the behaviors of the people we spend the most time around. It's called social proof, kind of.
Huh.
So if your close circle is constantly talking about saving, investing, learning about money, you're way more likely to absorb those habits and priorities yourself.
And the reverse is true too, I guess, if everyone's focused on spending.
Exactly. If the norm in your group is, say, always having the latest gadget or taking expensive trips you can't quite afford, it creates this subtle pressure. It can make sticking to your own financial goals feel harder, maybe even make you feel like the odd one out.
So financially successful people don't just accidentally end up with supportive friends. They might actually seek out those connections.
Often, yes. They understand this power of association. They might consciously join groups, attend events, or build relationships with others who share those wealth-building ambitions and values. It creates an environment where talking about money goals is normal, even encouraged. You learn from each other, you get support, you stay motivated. It's like finding your financial tribe, so to speak.
Your financial tribe, I like that. It highlights that your network can genuinely boost or hinder your progress.
Okay, and the final habit, number 7, keep learning. Why is ongoing learning so crucial here?
Well, the world doesn't stand still, does it? Especially the financial world.
Definitely not. New investment options pop up, tax laws change, the economy shifts. Things are always evolving. People who achieve significant financial success, they get that learning isn't a one-and-done thing.
Right.
You don't just read one book and you're set for life.
Right.
It's an ongoing commitment, continuously seeking knowledge about investing, about business, about personal finance strategies.
Yeah.
It's essential for making good decisions, for adapting, for spotting new opportunities, and avoiding pitfalls.
So it's not just about getting the basics down early on, but maintaining that curiosity, staying engaged with the financial world throughout your life.
Precisely. Lifelong learning is almost always a trait you see in people who build substantial wealth.
Yeah.
They read, they listen, they network, they study. They're constantly refining their understanding. It's about having that growth mindset.
Yeah.
And applying it specifically to your financial life. It empowers you to navigate the complexities.
Got it. Okay, so let's just quickly run through those 7 habits again, the ones we've pulled from this discussion. Number 1 was pay yourself first.
Right. Then track your spending.
Number 3, invest early and consistently.
4, live below your means.
5, avoid bad debt.
6, surround yourself with like-minded people.
And finally, number 7, keep learning.
Yeah, and it's worth remembering, I think, that while each habit is good on its own,
They work together, right?
they really do. They reinforce each other. Implementing them consistently creates this really robust framework, this sort of operating system for building wealth over the long haul.
Absolutely. A powerful combination. So for everyone listening, here's something to chew on. Looking at these 7 habits: pay yourself first, track spending, invest early and consistently, live below your means, avoid bad debt, surround yourself well, and keep learning which one really jumps out at you. Which one feels like it can make the biggest difference in your financial journey right now? And maybe more importantly, what's just one small, concrete thing you could do, maybe today or tomorrow, to start putting that habit into practice? Something to think about from this deep dive. Thanks for tuning in.